Get ready for the next battle. What's going on, YouTube? This is D Riggedy Wreck here with Argo, back from our vacation in Tokyo with another Gundam Card Game feature match here on the channel. If you guys enjoyed today's feature match, as always, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for future content. Getting into today's match, I know we're cutting it a little close to the GDO2 and STO6 release date, but we are running it back with a little bit of purple from STO5 there on the left, piloted by my buddy Junior. He's running it back with purple, white, I want to call it Barbatos blockers. Pretty straightforward lineup with the white package and the blockers. Some tech choices I think are a little unique to this list there, alongside the purple choices from the starter deck there, to round off a little bit more of the aggression in the mid to late game there. And on the right, piloted by myself, we are running it back with blue-white Unicorn Academy. It's roughly the same as the tempo build, but it's running a unicorn package as opposed to any other package. I know you've seen the red list that I was running before with the Shinanju as well as some of the Cybernew type package there. But in this case, we are running it back with the unicorn package. We have the Banagher as well as the unicorn mode and destroy mode in here. Potentially see some of those shenanigans later in this match there. But getting into the early game here, pretty straightforward early game for us both playing a white package in the list. Our turn 1 and turn 2 we throw down with the overflowing affection for draw, and that concludes most of our turns there. Junior's turn 2 though, he has access to level 3, throws down the Hyakuren. That's the new purple version of the Rizel Vanilla 4-3, level 3 2 cost, really solid. And then I'm getting into my turn 3, we throw down with the Michaelis, the staple early game unit of choice for Academy there, becoming a 4-4 if you have the 4 more command cards in the trash to benefit from the skill there. Getting into some of the combat steps here, Junior's turn 3, he starts off by swinging with the Hyakuren at shield. We counter with the Choo Choo command, reduce the AP by 2, saving the EX base from a lethal swing there and making sure that we're able to stay ahead 1 additional swing, just to give us a little bit more breathing room going into the mid game now. Getting into our turn 4 after Junior's turn, rounding off with the Graze Commander type. The new blocker, it's a replacement for the Zowart there. It's a turn later than the Zowart, but stat-wise it is the same, and has the Yallarhorn Link trait. So if you're getting into the end game and you need that extra piece to push, that is a linkable unit that can swing the turn it's played, in addition to being a blocker that has pretty solid stats for an early game card. Really solid there. We round off our turn 4 with a Show of Resolve followed by an Overflowing Affection just to round off our commands in the trash, in addition to generating a lot of hand advantage getting into turn 4 here. We swing the 4-4 at EX base there for lethal, and that concludes our turn 4. No real board establishment on our piece there, really just, again, ramping up the trash with commands as well as generating more hand advantage to try and survive into the mid to late game. Both of us kind of getting into our turn 4, turn 5 position. With Junior being at level 5 in his turn 4 there, he has opportunity for a few more pieces that could give him a bit more board edge and advantage. He is able to swing twice with the Graze Commander as well as the Hyakuren into life, and then throws down the new purple command to eliminate the Michaelis outright. Really solid command, a little bit of a double-edged. If you do have it in life, it's pretty lackluster, but if you have it in hand, it's a lot stronger as a command, being able to eliminate anything for 2. Really, really solid. He rounds off his turn with the Gundam Ilfrith, another blocker for his list there, and then ends his turn 4 there. We start our turn 5 with another Overflowing Affection, really ramping with the trash, with the commands, as well as drawing and feeding hand advantage. At this point, I'm remembering I'm really digging for the destroy mode. I think I don't see it just yet, but I do see a couple of Banaghers as well as a couple of the unicorn modes, but no other pieces there to really accelerate. So we start building a board here. We're going to throw down a aerial, the rare aerial there. It's going to be at a cost reduction of 2 to cost only 1, with the Suletta link there costing 2, and that's going to give us a resource back. Swinging in for a 4-5. I'm not sure if he wants to block here. I believe we're just swinging at shield with this swing here, but I think he's contemplating if he wants to block or not. And either way, if he does block, I have lethal, and that's only 2 damage being dealt back. If he were to block here. He is going to block. And I think he's going to pass the action back to me in this instance. He has that one untapped resource there. I think he has a play that he might want to make here. So he's going to pass the action back. I don't think we're going to play anything here just yet. He's going to go back to his action step. He's going to play the Iron... Was it... with Iron and Blood to increase the AP of his Ulfrith there. We are going to counter with our action step with the Choo Choo command there to reduce the AP by 2. So it does get a +1 off of it total and making it a 3 attack. So I'm still surviving in this combat phase here. And just to clarify for those watching there, a little bit new to the rules, during combat, when the action step presents itself, if the turn player is swinging, the standby player, the opponent in this instance there, has the opportunity to play a action, whether that's blocker or an action command from hand, during that step. If he does declare something, the action step does pass back to the turn player. And the whole way it pans out is both players have to consecutively pass their action step during combat. So in this instance, I swing, he declares blocker, action passes back to me, I don't play an action step passes back to my opponent, he then plays a command, an action command, then the action passes back to me, I can then choose to play a command at this point in time, and then going back and forth until we both pass with no actions during our respective action steps, then going to the end of combat. Pretty comprehensive there for anyone following along, just to give a little bit of clarity there, but it is a bit more intricate now, especially getting into set 2. We're going to see a lot more play development going into a lot of the metagame there once we start building out more lists, once we get some support out of GDO2 as well as Starter Deck 6, and just really have opportunities to tinker with interactions and I think build more into the use of commands and the counterplay with commands that way there. But passing it back to Junior's turn there, he is able to break through some of our shields, as well as the aerial rebuild there. He's able to get rid of that and then swing at shield. We do defensively check a Corsica base. That's going to give us a little bit of breathing room following Junior's play with the Perfect Strike Gundam there, another blocker, again to build out the board and really slow the state of the game down there. Give himself some breathing room to make sure that he's not being rushed down too egregiously. We're going to get back to our turn 6. We're going to throw down 2 Strike Daggers. This is my alternative tech choice for the early game. Give me something with better stats. And the idea is if you have to get into turn 2, you want to play something down that can swing for lethal at an EX base. That's what the Strike Dagger is there for. In the mid to late game, it's not super ideal. And I think that's why the Grace Commander plays a bit more into what we want in the early game. Same stat. It's a turn later, but the blocker plus the link ability makes it a much more viable early game card, I think, going into the new meta, especially if we're playing a lot more with blockers getting into set 2 as well as Starter Deck 6. Starter Deck 6 looks interesting for some of the more aggro plays that it can make, being a red and green mixed deck there, and I think that a lot of stuff out of that with the Omega Psycom U as well as the Red Denver being able to play a bit more aggressively. We're going to see a bit more play with that getting into the coming weeks there. Getting into Junior's turn 6, though, he's going to throw down on an Ale Strike with the link. He's going to bounce one of these Strike Daggers back up. He doesn't want to give back the Michaela. Stat-wise, it's just too good to give back. He's going to start swinging aggressively at life. The first with the Ale Strike and the second with the Hyakurin. And he's going to swing with the third with the Perfect Strike there. So he's going to forsake the blocker a little bit there in favor of being a bit more aggressive. But that does play favorably into his turn there. I am now down to only a base, no shield, versus Junior. He's at 5 shield with a base. Little unfortunate of a situation for me to be in at this stage in the game. But we do still have ample hand. Junior's a bit more aggressive with his use of hand resources, down to only 3 cards in hand. So we're going to see if we can't make a little bit more of a comeback getting into this turn here, or turn 7. We have plenty of options in hand. Again, we still have the Unicorn mode, we still have the Banagher. We're going to start by swinging, it looks like. We're going to swing the Strike Dagger here into the Hyakurin and we'll do a net-net trade. Or I guess a plus trade in my favor stat-wise. And I think Junior's going to contemplate utilizing that resource there, that untapped resource, to potentially counterplay. He's not going to counterplay. He's going to take the trade. And I do see we have plenty of options there. Suletta in hand, as well as another Corsica base. Could potentially throw down the Corsica base to make 2 small units that can swing. But with the blockers on the board, it's not super favorable. And we really want to clear board here first before jumping into a play like that. So we're going to trade the Michaelis into the Perfect Strike there. And we're going to pay 4. Here comes the Unicorn mode. And the Banagher link there. So that's going to make it a 6-5. The 6-5 being really solid here. And then the draw is going to be helpful. And then we're going to crash into the Ale Strike there. It's going to be total board clear for both of us. I'll save out a turn, an additional turn there. And then we're going to remember to do the recoup with the Unicorn mode there. Add the Banagher back and then be able to discard something. We discard the Rebuild. Then we're going to round off turn 7 with the Michaelis. And again, a 4-4 at this stage is pretty solid. Not super ideal, but given the board clear, we're able to flesh out an additional turn and hopefully survive into the next 1 to 2 turns and really accelerate into some form of comeback. Again, Junior being down to only 4 cards in hand, but he does throw down a Justice Gundam. It's going to give him a Fatum, the blocker there, 2-2 blocker. And in my list there, without any real removal options, definitely a little bit more of a threat to me in slowing the flow of the game down there. He does round off his turn with the Grace Commander type. 2 blockers on the board. Really solid for him. Not so much for me in this instance. We need to be able to get around a lot of that and be able to push for shield. But given the amount of shield he still has left, he doesn't necessarily have to block any of the attacks at this stage in the game. I think if you were to block it, that might slow the game down a bit further and into territory that might be at detriment to him, being at a lower hand advantage than myself at this stage. And we do still have plenty of options in hand. The Corsica base, I do see another copy of the Rebuild, as well as the Suletta in hand to be able to link. So it comes down to what we're going to throw down here. So we're going to pay 5, and that's going to bring out the Aerial Rebuild, and we do pay the 6th resource there to throw the Suletta on board. That's going to let us get a command back from the trash, although the only real commands right now are the draw commands between the Show of Resolve and the Overflowing Affections. I do see a copy of the Choo-Choo Panlouche command in there. Could be beneficial, depending on how we flesh out the coming turn here, but it's going to come down to whether or not we have the play. And it's pretty technical. He only has 2 cards in hand, so it really comes down to if he's able to push for game next turn. As of right now, he does, and we need a way to be able to play around that a little bit. The Justice by itself being a 5-5 is able to clear the Corsica base alone, and then any 2 of those could swing, and that would be game. So we need to find a way to flesh this turn out to be able to survive at least 1 more turn and be able to push a bit more. Being down to only 2 cards in hand, we need a way to kind of play with that and really take that to our advantage. So we're going to throw down the Overflowing that we fetched back from the Rebuild. More opportunity to draw, and then get into the next turn or 2, potentially. And we're going to start by swing for lethal at the base. And then we're going to swing Rebuild into shield. He's going to check another base. Super unfortunate. And then we're going to round off our turn with a Striker pack. We're going to make a Launcher Strike Gundam. And I think this might have been a little bit of a misplay here. I definitely didn't need to do the draw being helpful, but we already had some pieces in hand that would have allowed us to play it a bit defensively. I got a copy of the Choo-Choo Panlouche in hand to be able to negate maybe the Fatum's attack, make it a 0. In this instance, that we're going to block the Justice. And now he needs another unit to be able to swing for game. He does have the freedom with the Kira for game. Thanks again for watching, guys. Again, if you enjoyed today's feature match, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. As always, leave a comment down below about what you're looking forward to out of the release event for GDO2. I know there's no release event for Starter Deck 6, But if you're able to get a copy or two of those decks, be sure to share a couple of your list ideas in the comments below. But until the next video, guys, take care.